This is Gene Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 283, originally aired September 6th, 2017. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today, we're going to talk about, and we are going to tap about, those times when we want to have transformation, healing, and success, and the people in our lives aren't able to support that in ways that are more subconscious than conscious. But before we do that, over the course of the last few podcasts, we have been spending a lot of time talking about and tapping about the emotions that are coming up because the world is such a complicated, messy place. And I've gotten some really amazing feedback for those episodes. People have appreciated them. They've shared them. That means a lot to me. But sometimes a tap-along audio and a tapping script is not enough to respond to what is actually going on in the world. And so to that end, what I have decided to do is I've decided to open some time up in my schedule over the course of the next 6 weeks or so to do some extra one-on-one sessions with clients. Now, at this point, I typically don't sell sessions in kind of one-off. I like doing long-term programs, but this is a unique time. And because it's such a unique time, I am doing this at a severe discount. I am charging less than half what I normally do for sessions. I only have 10 hours available because I have a regular client load and a business to run. But if you are a person who would like the opportunity to do some tapping one-on-one with me, I would encourage you to go to tappingqa.com/world, tappingqa.com/world, and the word world because the world is such a messy place right now where you can get all of the details and sign up. Again, there's only a limited number of sessions there. So once my calendar gets filled up, you will not be able to take advantage of it. So it is there. If it is right for you, take advantage of that right now. So for today's podcast, I think the title is something like The 3 Reasons Why the People Who Love Us Don't Want Us to Heal. And that can sound a little hypey, and it can sound a little clickbaity. And there's really kind of 2 camps when it comes for transformation. There are some people who hear, my loved ones don't want me to succeed, to be successful, and they're nodding their head yes. Those are the people who have family members and people who are close to them who are intentionally and explicitly undermining success. And you might have some people like that in your life, or you might know people in your life who are having to go through that particular struggle or that particular experience with the people who are close to them. The rest of us are in a situation where we don't think that is believable. There's no possible way that people who love me don't want me to succeed. They do things to help me to be successful. They give me vocal support to let me know how important it is that I keep moving forward and I keep pursuing what is in front of me. And that can be true. And at the exact same time, on a subconscious level, the people around us might not want us to succeed. And when they feel that way, they might intentionally and consciously do things to help us, and then subconsciously and unintentionally do things to undermine us and deprive us of the support that we need as we are moving forward. And from my experience, from having hundreds and hundreds of conversations with clients around dealing with the loved ones around them, there are 3 main reasons why the people in our life don't want us to transform. The first subconscious reason is when we're going through a transformational process, it shines a light on the fact that their life is not as good as they would like it to believe, or it's not as good as they like to pretend that it is. Because we all put on airs to act like our life is so much better and so much more effective than we actually know it to be. And so when we see someone else doing the work, putting in the effort, and creating real transformation in their life, it's very easy for us to feel bad because we see the lack of success that we are having and we see how bad things are. And again, completely subconsciously, this is not people making these intentions known and doing this in a conscious way. But when we see someone lifting up that helps us to see how bad we are, there is a tendency for us to try and pull them back down so that they are on the same level as us. The second reason that someone would unconsciously or subconsciously undermine us or not be excited by our transformation is they are jealous of the fact that we are having transformation. Because I'm sure you have people in your life who are doing the work, who are putting in the effort, who are being thoughtful and deliberate about healing and transformation, and for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to make it work yet. They're not actually moving forward in a healthy way. They're not seeing the transformation. They're not seeing the change. And so when we are having that change, when we are having that healing and that transformation, it is possible, again, sub and unconsciously, for them to feel really jealous of the fact that we are going through this. And jealousy is just really such an insidious emotion that rots from the inside out. Because when we're jealous of someone else, it almost feels like they have it because we're better than us, or we don't have it because we are less than them. And it creates all of these internal questions of value and worth. And so that sense of jealousy, again, we see someone else experiencing and we don't want them to have it, so we pull them down. The third reason why the people in our life who love us, not just pay lip service, but actually do love us, might not be excited about our change and our transformation, is because when we change, everything in our life changes with that. Which means that we have to renegotiate all of the relationships we have. And so when I change, by necessity, every relationship I am in changes in some big or small way. And the people around us don't like it when they no longer have the predictable relationship that they were expecting. Now, let's just take an extreme example of this, and then we'll kind of step it back. So let's pretend that I am deciding that the change that I'm making is I'm going to start working towards a new career. And in order to start working towards a new career, I have to get a bunch of extra education, which means a couple of nights a week, I am now taking night classes so that while I'm working during the day, in the evening, I'm able to add on these extra skills. Well, because I am now in night classes, that means 3 nights a week, I am not around for my friends and family in the way that I once was. And they could become dependent upon that. Maybe they get something really practical out of that, or maybe they just enjoy my company because I am so charming, and their life is now worse off because they don't get to spend that quality time with me. So because I am going through transformation, their life changes as well. Now, in subtler ways, in ways that are more undercurrent, we can see this as well. I could be in a situation where I'm in a relationship where I have become a doormat to you. And everything you want and everything you need, you get from me. And you can have me doing your bidding whenever you want. I start going through transformation. I start healing. I start gaining self-esteem. I start asserting myself in the relationship. Not in a I'm taking over the relationship type of way, but in a I'm no longer your doormat type of way. So you now no longer have the things that you want. You no longer have me doing your bidding. You no longer just are able to prop yourself up emotionally because I am no longer the doormat that I once was. And one of the things that I like to remind myself and my clients of all the time is the people in our lives love us to change as long as they don't have to. Because change is hard. You know that as you're going through this transformation process and you're doing it deliberately and intentionally to get the change that you want. That's hard. Imagine how much harder it is when things around you are changing and you don't have control over that. Now, it would be really easy to hear those 3 reasons and for us in a subconscious way or an unconscious way, decide we're not going to transform. I don't want to have healing happen in my life and make other people feel bad because they're not healing. Or I am not going to have healing in my life because I don't want you to have to experience jealousy. Or I have been predictable for so long, I'm not going to transform so that life is still predictable for you. It's really important to recognize we are not emotionally responsible for the people in our lives. And I need to say that again because that's just such a key important fact. We are not responsible for the emotional well-being of the people in our lives. Our emotions are how we choose to interpret the circumstance, and we can't be responsible for how someone else does that. And when we change, by necessity, our world around us is going to change. But change is a constant in this world, and change is always happening. Just because you don't think you're not changing, it doesn't mean that you're not. Change is still happening. It's just typically happening in an unconscious way. So we're constantly renegotiating our relationships. We're constantly in a situation where we are impacting others around us in different ways. So we have the right, and it is best for us to do that in a deliberate, thoughtful way. So again, when we change, it is possible for the people around us in an unconscious and a subconscious way to feel bad about themselves. It's possible for them to feel jealous, and it's possible for them to fret because they don't want to change when we are changing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of those things and we're going to tap to them and for them one at a time so that we can get some space that'll allow you to do the change that you want. So to begin with, just tap on the side of the hand, take a nice big deep breath, and move from tapping point to tapping point, repeating after me. I recognize the fact that as I change, as I transform, as I heal, as I move forward, my transformation impacts the people around me because we are connected. We are interdependent. But just because my transformation impacts others, it does not mean I need to stand still. I need to stay static. Because the world isn't static. The world is not staying the same. It only feels that way. I give myself permission to pursue transformation and to work towards healing in an intentional and deliberate way. It is okay for me to make choices in the world that impact the people around me, because the people around me are being impacted by me no matter what I do. There are going to be times in which loved ones feel subconsciously that my transformation is pointing out and heightening the discomfort in their own life. When they see me having better, when they see me healing, when they see me transformed, they might be reminded of the things they are not happy with in their own life. And this might cause them to push back on my transformation, to undermine my healing. But just because they recognize the pain in their life does not mean I am responsible for the pain in their life. Does not mean I have caused the pain in their life. Does not mean I have to stop my transformation. They are responsible for their emotional state. And I give myself permission to keep healing, regardless how they see themselves. It is also possible for the people around me to be jealous of my transformation because they are not having the same type of healing. They might even be putting in effort. They might even be working really hard and not making the progress I am making. And because of this, they are jealous of my progress. I recognize the fact my healing is not undermining their healing. My transformation is not undermining their transformation. It simply means that I am transforming and I am healing at a rate that is faster than them. They can choose to be jealous if they like, but they are responsible for that jealousy. I give myself permission to trust myself and to know this healing path is right, regardless how it relates to someone else's healing path. This process of healing that I am engaged in means that I am changing, means that I am transforming. And when I transform one part of my life, it often impacts many parts of my life. And when I change, it is possible for many of my relationships to change as well. And there are people who aren't going to be happy with our relationships changing because they want their life to be predictable. They want their life to be the same. They want things to move forward in a consistent way. And I can appreciate their desire for predictability. But the world is actually changing all of the time. Relationships are evolving all of the time. And I give myself permission to recognize the fact I am not responsible for others' transformation, and I'm allowed to change. I give myself permission to know that when people are frustrated with my transformation, regardless of the reason, it is about them and how they see the world. It is not about me. It is not about my right to transform. It is not about how I am moving through the world. It is about their interpretation. I give myself permission to keep healing, to keep transforming, to keep evolving, regardless what the people around me think. Because my transformation is about me. My transformation is about my life. My transformation is about how I move forward. I give myself permission to trust myself in this transformation and to know my transformation and healing is not only good for me, but it is good for everyone. Take a nice big deep breath for me. Another nice big deep breath. There's a number of tricky, subtle ideas inside of the tapping that we did just there. Because it would almost be easier if people were really vocal about the things that they were displeased with, because then we could lean into it. When it comes to our change and our transformation and the way that those around us resist it, it's in really subtle, unconscious and subconscious ways, which can make it hard to recognize and can make it hard to respond to. And so by doing tapping like this, it creates space and allows you to move forward in a natural way. Now, for some of you, Tap Along Audios isn't the best way to consume this. You might actually like to read it. If you go to tappingqandapodcast.com and click on the link for episode 283, you will see below the player the script. If you happen to be listening to this in the website, you can already see that. An easier way for you to get this tapping script and over 25 other tapping scripts that we've produced, and we keep adding more all the time. If you go to tappingqandapodcast.com and you download the Tapping Q&A app, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. There's no in-app payments. It just, everything is there. It's available for the Android and it's available for Apple devices. Not only do you get access to the entire audio library of everything that is Tapping Q&A related, you also have a section where if you just click on the text tab, you'll see a whole bunch of scripts so that no matter where you are, you can just pull it up and you can read along with the script and tap along to it, because sometimes we don't have the option to listen to the audio, or like I said, you might not be a person who's super down with audios and would rather have the script, so you can tap to it at your own pace. It's absolutely free, tappingqandapodcast.com. There you'll also find our entire archive. We're closing in on 350 free audios, trainings, instructions, interviews. We have some really amazing interviews coming up. I know most of the summer we've been doing tap along audios. As we go into the fall, we're going to move back into instruction mode. If you are looking for some one-on-one help right now, and you want to tap with me, just go to tappingqna.com/world. That special deal is going on, over 50% off, a chance to work with me one-on-one for this limited time. If you have a question, if you have a comment, you can always find me at the website tappingqna.com. If you click on the contact link, you can send an email. You can even leave me some audio feedback. I love audio feedback. I love hearing from you. If you're in the app, click on contact. You can leave me a voicemail or send me a message, or you can always email me directly at Gene, Gene, at tappingqna.com. I'm really excited for the next 3 weeks of the podcast. I'm doing interviews specifically around money, making choices, moving forward. And so you're going to want to look forward to that. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Monterastelli. I hope you have a really great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Monterastelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Monterastelli or Tapping Q&A.